Aloha everyone, hope you're having a glorious day. How do you keep track of the passage of time? What is your awareness that time is passing? Well, in ancient times, the Israelites had a universal convention to keep track of the cyclical seasonal pattern. This is the Luni-Solar Calendar. And just as Genesis specifies, God's people are keeping track by the sun, moon, and stars. Now, could anyone keep track of the year? Of course. How did Israelites keep track and know when to plant crops? How did Israelites keep track and know when to celebrate high holidays? Let's see how this calendar works, because it's incredible. This calendar keeps track of the moon. That is why it's lunar, because what constitutes a month? A month is one trip around the earth, or 29.5 days. Now, we have an awareness of this by a new moon that starts into a waxing crescent and moves through a full moon, and then back to a full moon again after passing through a waning crescent. So, in months 1 through 12 are numbered on the top here, and instead of using 29.5 days for each month, Israelites used alternating 30 and 29 days. So you can see the first month is 30 days. So you just count sunset to sunset as each day. And when you hit 30 sunsets, the first month of Nisan is over. Count 29 sunsets and the next month of Adar is complete. Easy, right? Everyone can do this. Now, the next part is the solar part of the Luni-Solar Calendar. And what makes 1 year? Well, what constitutes a year is 365.2 days, but our awareness of that is different. Now, 365.2 days is exactly one trip of the Earth around the sun. So on the Luni-Solar Hebrew calendar, we need to merge the moon and the sun cycle. So if we add every day of the 12 months of the moon's alternating 30 and 29 days, the cycle, we come out to 354 days after 12 months. So if one trip all the way around the sun is 365 days, and we only went 354 days, then we are 11 days short of a full trip. So let's keep track of this. On year 1, we are 11 days behind a full trip around the sun. Okay, are you feeling smart yet? What about year 2? Year 2, we get behind another 11 days because we counted every month 30 days plus 29 days until we had 12 months. That made 354 days. So now we are 22 days behind our complete trip around the sun. So year 2, we're 22 days behind a full trip around the sun. Year 3, we're going to do something special. We are going to add a 13th month called Adar 2. This 13th month is going to have 30 days because Adar 1 had 29 days. So where are we on our year 3, our third trip around the sun? Well, it takes 365 days to get around the sun, but we started 22 days behind, if you remember, from year 1 and year 2. So 12 months of counting 30 days and 29 days. And on year 3, 354 days, plus we add the 30 days of Adar 2. And so now on year 3, we are only 3 days behind a full trip around the sun. So we know when to plant our crops, when to celebrate the holidays, and we're only 3 days behind. Now, year 4, we're 14 days behind a full trip around the sun. Year 5, we're 25 days behind. Year 6, we are going to add another 30 days of Adar 2 and the 13th month, and we're only 6 days behind a complete trip around the sun. Now, year 7, we're 17 days behind. And year 8, we add another 30 days of Adar to the 13th month. And we end up being ahead by 2 days. Well, this is weird. Now we're ahead of our rotation around the sun. But remember, what we said makes a year is 365.25 days, a quarter of a day. So we've been using 365 days in our calculations. Now when we go back and add the quarter day, the 0.25 day for each of the 8 years, you get exactly 2 days. Every 8 years we've come precisely to the exact place where we were in relation to the sun. Wow, that is amazing. All of God's appointed times in Leviticus 23, God's holidays, they occur in the first month of Nisan for the spring holidays, or the 7th month of Tishri for all the fall holy days. Now, there is one exception of this holiday or holy day. It's the 4th month of Sivan for Pentecost or Shavuot. But the most amazing thing to me is the only holiday of all these feasts is to be celebrated on the first day of the month is the Feast of Trumpets. Now, this is significant because this is the next holiday to be fulfilled on God's calendar. This holiday was commemorated if 2 witnesses saw the waxing crescent moon for the Feast of Trumpets, and then it would be celebrated. So they sat atop the mountains looking for that first crescent moon when they could first view it. And when they did, they sounded the shofar, they sounded the trumpet, and that told Jerusalem, the priests in Jerusalem, that the Feast of Trumpets is here. And this is why no man knows the day nor the hour of the Feast of Trumpets. It is a reference that Jesus is telling his disciples, hey, no man knows the day nor the hour. He's pointing to the Feast of Trumpets. He's saying no man knows when he is coming back. Only God knows. He's referencing this event. So because the last trumpet will sound and Jesus is coming back at the Feast of Trumpets, at the last trumpet, please do not forget how much God loves you.